The hall of galactic memory shimmered with a light that came from no sun. It was a cold, solemn radiance that made visitors instinctively lower their voices, as if afraid to disturb the echo of history. In the center of the vast hall, suspended within a humming containment field, hung an artifact that had stirred a storm of excitement throughout the entire council. The sword of the great liberators. Its metal, a strange alloy long lost to all known civilizations, reflected the surrounding glow like liquid starlight. The blade, quiet and motionless, seemed to still hold the tension of ancient battles. Faint scars flashed like dying lightning, running across its surface in ghostly arcs. Spectral analysis had already detected microscopic traces of blood from dozens of species, some extinct, some legendary, some not classified at all. For the Council, this became indisputable proof of the mysterious warriors who, 2 centuries ago, had overthrown the ruthless Zerfon Empire. As the presentation ceremony began, scientists, officers, diplomats, and representatives of many worlds pressed closer, barely hiding their excitement. The air crackled with whispers like sparks: super soldiers, bioengineered champions, transcendent defenders enhanced by forgotten technologies. Rumors fed on rumors. "Behold," the herald proclaimed in a solemn, resonant voice, "the weapon of those who saved us all." A collective murmur swept through the hall. And then someone coughed quietly. The sound struck like a blow. All heads turned sharply. Next to the security line stood a young human woman, slightly out of breath, as if she had gotten lost in the station's corridors. Her hair was tousled, her clothes practical, and her badge atrociously forged in that charming way only inexperienced rookies manage. She hesitantly raised her hand in an apologetic gesture. Sorry I'm late," she said. "I think this sword belonged to my grandfather." Time didn't just stop. It froze to the point of fragility. A dozen antennae twitched. 36 eyes widened. Several holographic cameras locked onto her, their optical lenses quivering in mute confusion. Cantu of Carapaz trembled so violently that his translator began to stutter. A Velyar scientist turned a deep, shocked violet, his crystalline tendrils shaking like glass ornaments in the wind. The eyes of the Telnok ambassador, normally displaying steady chromatic bands, flickered chaotically, then suddenly dulled. The eldest archaeologist, a Vassar whose body consisted of slowly shifting luminous threads, leaned forward toward the containment field, as if hopping the sword itself would refute the intruder's words. "Identify yourself," he whispered with difficulty. "Oh yes, of course." The human offered a polite smile. "My name is Leia Kim, Earth, Seoul District. I was actually invited here for a completely different reason, but when I heard about the recovered sword, I thought, well, it looked familiar." She pulled out a battered holographic tablet. She tapped the screen, and old, grainy photographs from 2 centuries ago appeared in the air. In one, a man in ordinary combat gear held the exact same sword, same shape, same scars on the blade. Behind him, burning starships, wreckage of the Zerfon fleet, crushed emblems of a once invincible power. He didn't look like a myth. He looked like a regular soldier in a standard helmet. Leia swiped to the next photo. In it, her grandfather carried a wounded Zeltari medic over his shoulder, his face twisted with exhaustion. Another photo showed him leading frightened civilians through a collapsed hangar. The next captured him sitting on a crate, surrounded by allies not recorded in any official chronicle, sharing rations as if around a campfire. "My grandfather never wanted to be a legend," Leia said quietly, holding the tablet as if afraid to drop it. "Everything he did to save people. He never talked about it. These photos survived in an old family archive. I recognized the sword only when images of your discovery appeared online." The Vassar stepped closer almost involuntarily. His luminous threads flickered with bewilderment, his tendrils frozen above the holographic images. "This completely contradicts the known records," he whispered. The great liberators are described as genetically enhanced beings, warriors beyond mortals, crafted by sciences more powerful than ours. Yes, Leia said, nodding. He definitely wasn't that. He once broke his wrist trying to repair a solar heater. A soft wave of subdued horror rippled through the hall. Cantu, gasping, choked out. But the legends say they endured plasma storms, leaped across ruptured decks. How could an ordinary human do such things? Leia spread her hands. Well, have you ever seen what humans do when someone threatens their family or friends? She paused. We get very determined. A pause. Very. A thoughtful murmur swept the hall like the movement of deep water. The archaeologists studied each photo as if the fate of the universe depended on their attentiveness, and they saw not an idealized legend, but something far more honest and unsettling, courage born of fear, exhaustion forged into stubborn resolve, a human covered in soot, dirt, and despair, and still protecting others, still moving forward when reason said to stop. An ordinary person who kept fighting because no one else could. If this is true, whispered the eldest Vassar, his glow dimming with reverent shock, we will have to rewrite all of history. The great liberators were not superior beings. They were humans. A heavy, viscous silence settled over the hall. The Velyar shifted to contemplative indigo. The Telnok ambassador's eyes faded to a monotone ash, the color of deep reconsideration. Council members whispered nervously, uncertain and shaken. Before them stood a true moral dilemma for the first time in decades. Publish the truth and rewrite history, no matter how inconvenient. Or preserve the myth that had inspired generations, the myth of heroes above human frailty. No one, even in their boldest dreams, could have imagined that their legendary warrior, the one who reshaped the course of an era, had been an ordinary human being.